Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Emily Dennis, and this is a pre-recording of my talk for OHBM next month. My talk is ENIGMA-U, a free online resource for increasing representation from historically excluded groups in neuroimaging research. So first, what's the problem that we're trying to address here? The issue here is representation. Historically excluded groups, or HEGs in STEM, enter STEM majors at the same rate as their peers, but they do not finish at the same rate. And this large analysis from a couple of years ago identified early career course advising as an effective tool in narrowing the STEM degree completion gap. This gap is not present for other fields such as business and the social sciences. Some of the existing gaps, there are many nationally funded efforts to increase HEG representation in STEM. Many of these start in graduate school or later, though, and this misses some opportunities. Neuroscience and neuroimaging are really broad interdisciplinary fields, so without guidance, it's hard to know what exactly you're supposed to study, what the field is, what the boundaries are, what's included, what the options are after you complete your degree, what skills you need to develop to get started. And as we all know, research experience is a critical part of a resume. Researchers obviously are less likely to bring on a student with little to no background. So where do you get started? Additionally, summer options might be limited because the training for neuroimaging takes quite some time, and usually there isn't enough time in the summer to do this. Some of the barriers that some students experience in accessing mentorship: physical, not living close to a research university, either students who are rural or they don't have a large research university in near their city. Financial, not being able to take unpaid research internships or relocate for opportunities. Cultural, not feeling comfortable contacting or knowing that it is even okay to reach out to researchers and express interest in their work. And logistical, not having the flexibility to pursue opportunities due to work schedule or other duties such as taking care of family members at home. So we started ENIGMA-U to try to address some of these. ENIGMA-U is a free online course focused on neuroscience, neuroimaging, and neuropsychology, geared toward advanced high school and entry-level college students. And to address these barriers, it's online, so that addresses the physical barriers. It is free, and we are also working on developing an internship network that will offer stipends. We include information about academia and academic culture, career steps, what you need to do beforehand and what the options are afterwards. And for the logistical concerns, classes and assessments are asynchronous. ENIGMA-U also connects students with the broader ENIGMA consortium. I'm pretty sure that almost everybody in the audience is familiar with ENIGMA now, but just in case you're not, ENIGMA stands for Enhancing Neuroimaging Genetics Through Meta-Analysis, and it is a large collaborative group of neuroimagers around the world who work together to achieve greater sample sizes. It's been likened to crowdsourcing neuroimaging analysis, so piggybacking off of that, we are crowdsourcing neuroimaging training. So this is the curriculum for ENIGMA-U that we developed. This was after input from dozens of scientists about what skills and what knowledge they would want people coming into their lab to have. This is not meant to be in a whole lot of depth because each lab has their own topics that they study and their own methods that they use, but this is meant to form a very solid basis such that students can then find a position in a lab and get that additional training. We started with a fairly small neuropsychology module, but this has exploded into a separate track. After we completed this curriculum, we decided that it would be best to have two primary tracks where all students would be welcome to take all of the courses, but students who primarily have an interest in neuropsychology, for example, wouldn't need to watch what will probably end up being 20 hours of neuroimaging lectures, and vice versa for students who are primarily interested in neuroimaging. They won't need to watch the 15 to 20 hours that we expect will be in the neuropsychology curriculum. These are the lectures that have been completed to date, along with those researchers who have created the lectures. We have around 30 hours of lectures that have been done so far. 36 researchers from around the world have spent time putting these together. So just to briefly go over, there's an introductory module that goes into neuroanatomy and a very basic intro to imaging, just to set the stage for the rest of them. We have a college preparation module that's optional. This is obviously for students who are in high school. A science literacy module talking about study design and lay summaries of science. Natural phenomena, including neurodevelopment, aging, and sex differences. A massive computer programming module that piggybacks off of a project that Dr. Sukli at USC has set up. So a lot of these lectures were already created, and she enabled us to use those. There is a massive clinical disorders module. This pulls strongly from the ENIGMA consortium. So we have groups around the world who are focused on different psychiatric and neurological disorders. And within these groups, they have put together these lectures, which serve as a very basic introduction to the disorders that they study. We will also be, and in some cases have already put together supplementary lectures for students who realize that they're interested in schizophrenia, for example, and want to learn more. We'll have supplementary material that they can study. And statistics. This one, as of recording at the end of June, is not totally complete, but by OHBM, I think it will be complete and online for students to start. So what does the interface look like? It's set up similar to Coursera, if anyone has used that before, where everything is online, the lectures are there, the quizzes are there, it's asynchronous, so there's no particular schedule. You can follow it at your own course. We don't have a deadline in which students need to finish the course as long as they're showing consistent progress. It's supported by the learning management system called Unique. Our goal has been to have lectures be 10 to 20 minutes each, so that they can be kind of bite-sized and keep students' attention. And at the end, students will have a completion certificate that lists the modules that they completed and their performance on the quizzes. So this is something that they could include with their CV when looking for positions in labs. Another piece that we have is that we're working on putting up is an interview section. So the reason I wanted to put this together was to show the broad background in neuroimagers, people who use neuroimaging, people who've studied neuroimaging, both in terms of where they come from, what training they had, what their background is, and also where they end up. So we have interviews with people around the world, across levels of seniority, inside and outside of academia. So those who have decided to take their academic skills into other areas, to try to give people a sense of what the possibilities are. If you decide to pursue one of these careers, what are some of the things that you can do with this? And hopefully every student will find somebody that resonates with them, either their background or their interests or their training, that they can see as a motivation to continue. We're also making all of the videos available on Google Drive for free. This is for students who want to audit the course, where they don't need the tracking of their progress. The videos are just there. They can jump around and watch them as they're interested. This will also serve as a training resource for our lab and any other lab that wants to use it, where you can have someone who's incoming to your lab say, okay, you go watch modules 1 through 5, and then we'll get started on the lab specific training, something along those lines. So we launched in September 2022, and so far we've had 673 students sign up from 75 countries. This map makes me just so happy to see the spread that we have. We know that there's a heavy emphasis on US, Canada, EU, in the research and people presenting. So I think it's just fantastic to see the broad range of students that we have in our course. And the second most represented country among our students is India, and number 3 is Nigeria. So you can see that there's broad interest around the world. And we really are reaching people by making this free and making it accessible. We're reaching a lot of people who might not otherwise be able to study this. So current status, we are in the process of recording the neuropsychology lectures and the careers in science lectures. We are organizing the neuroimaging lectures, so if anybody wants to contribute to those, please reach out. And the ones that are remaining to be organized are research design, data collection, and ethics. We're also working on some accessibility options, such as generating transcripts of videos and adding them into all of the existing videos as captions. We did a survey of our students on what would make things easier for them, and this was the number 1 response. Where does our funding come from? Well, we started with pilot funding from the University of Utah Department of Neurology. We are also currently supported by donations from individuals. The costs are pretty modest. It's only $1.50 per student per month. We estimate that the full course, which will probably end up being around 100 hours of lectures, will take about 6 months for a student to complete. So that's $9 per student to complete the course. So it really is modest, and we know that there's funding opportunities out there. We just have to find them. So we're working on finding sustainable funding for this project, but in the meantime, surviving off of pilot funding from our department and individuals who opt to donate. This is the donation link if you want to share it out with anybody. And future plans. As I alluded to in the beginning, we are working on putting together an ENIGMA-U internship network. The format here would be that students who complete the course can then apply for a paid summer or academic position. And obviously, once we have the funding, we would be able to provide a stipend for the student, and ideally also some sort of a small stipend for the graduate student or postdoc or faculty member who would be supervising them to offset the time that is involved in mentoring students. Translation is also one of those ones that's been hanging out as a future plan. We have had some offers to translate things into Spanish, and I'm more than happy to share slides and videos with anybody who wants to work on that. And we're in the process of receiving and responding to course feedback, and we need to put together formal metrics on EDI outreach and how successfully we are at reaching students that we intend to reach here. How can you be involved? We would love to have you involved. As I mentioned, we're about 1/3 of the way through all of the lectures. We're working on another huge section of lectures now. If you would like to contribute, if you have content already that would be easily repurposed, that's fantastic. That's how a lot of our content has been made, is stuff that we already had for our training, just making it more appropriate for this audience. So if you're interested in creating and recording content, that's great. If you want to work with others, if you don't have the bandwidth to do all of that yourself, that's also great. Or if you see topics that are missing that you think should be included, we're very open to suggestions. Once the internship network is established, we will be reaching out, looking for mentors who would be open to taking students who have completed the course. You can find course information on our website. We update this periodically, and we'll be sending out more information here once we get things up and running, get more things up and running. And with that, thank you for your attention.